Good morning, everybody. 12th of December 2025, and it's like 11 o'clock. And yes, I should first mention, some people say, at least in one video, at least the photo looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, I used to look like that when I worked in a prison for 3 years, and they called me Officer Schwarzenegger back then. I don't know. Similar genetics, I guess, from that part of the world. So maybe, anyway. But today, or at least right now, I'll make kind of a short video. At least I think it'll be short. I never know. Turns always out not to be exactly what I was hoping. And yeah, I'll just mention some things like about Nick Fuentes, because I saw another video, part of his interview with Piers Morgan, and it was actually pretty interesting. And yesterday I was trying to respond, and I think I only got to one part. Like Nick Fuentes was saying his three main things, I guess. One was about I think it was Jews control society, and I don't really disagree with him very much on that one, because that's pretty much true. There's a lot of truth in that. Not much I can disagree with him on. And I think he made another little video after his talk with Piers Morgan, and it was something about some Jewish guy or whatever talking about buy my book, my grandfather died in the Holocaust or something like that. And you know, Nick, and somebody said, you know, maybe along with this, you know, they said, you have to it's very significant what Nick Fuentes says, because that's the generation that is going to be in, taken over as our leaders. And well, some of the stuff is very, very good, what Nick Fuentes talks about. And I hope that actually, it's what is it? I guess in contrast to what Piers Morgan says, Nick Fuentes, I think he's basically trying to get to the fact that, we've had this Holocaust rammed down our throat for like 40 years. And I guess Jewish people have this thing that says never forgive and never forget. And I guess part of that is to keep ramming it down everybody's throat. Holocaust. Whenever you don't get your way, if you're Jewish, you start saying Holocaust. And, now they're going to be talking about October 7th, 2023. When that whole thing, there's way too much evidence that was really staged. And you get this even from a Jewish person, was Max Blumenthal. Tremendously, he's a great person. I really love Max Blumenthal because he really gets his facts right. And it turns out, that most of those Israelis that got killed there, they were killed by the Israelis, by the IDF. IDF people admit that they were basically told to kill their own people because they didn't want the Palestinians to become hostages. I mean, the Israeli citizens to become hostages by Hamas. And so they had to kill them first. And that's the Hannibal Directive. And everybody talks about it. And they even have that. They have that. And everybody knows that that's what they're doing, that they did that. And they did it on purpose. And yet on the other side of their mouth, they're telling us, it was Hamas that did all this sort of thing. And then there's just way, way, way too much evidence. And, but, the strange thing is, Nick Fuentes, he has this admiration of Israel. So on the one hand, I don't know if Nick Fuentes even knows about this Hannibal Directive and things. Nick Fuentes, a lot of time, and he's on one side, he's kind of an intelligent guy, or maybe he's not really so intelligent, but he's just very articulate, and he knows how to talk really, really well. He's I guess his mind is really in order, so that he can put things out and articulate so that everybody can pretty much get his point. And sometimes nobody really gets his point when he comes out with a lot of this stuff like women should shut up. And, what the heck is he talking about? And so I don't know. He's just obviously a controversial guy, and I don't know what generation is he. I don't have any idea about these generations. I don't think they talk about that so much over here. Generation Z, the boomers. Of course, there's that after World War II. And I was thinking we're all boomers because it's all after World War II. But I don't know. Everybody's trying to put everybody into little categories and stuff. And I guess, people, the youth think in some certain ways, and it's not that they're always going to be thinking that way, because when they get a little older, they're going to be a little bit more conservative, and they're going to maybe change their way of thinking. It's very obvious. A lot of people do that. So I don't really, it's wondering what the heck is going on in society. And I don't know, is Nick Fuentes a role model or not? I think I talked to somebody, and I guess he's about the same age as Nick Fuentes, and they don't really agree with a lot of the things that Nick Fuentes says at all, but I guess they watch him for entertainment. They said he's funny, and it's funny to watch him. And then I think Piers Morgan was getting angry at Nick Fuentes because, like, he was saying stuff like Hitler was cool, and that he thought the Holocaust was funny, and Nick Fuentes, I think it's not that he thought the Holocaust is funny or anything like that. I'm thinking that he's thinking, like I was just trying to say right there, that they're shoving down everybody's throat, Holocaust, Holocaust, Holocaust. I think he thinks that is ridiculous and funny, that they think they're going to be continually getting away with all of that, and a lot of people are waking up to that. And as we all know, Candace Owens, she's probably one of it goes against what Nick Fuentes says. Women should shut up. Candace Owens is probably one of the more rational thinking people out there in the media that there is, and she's a woman. I like Kim Iverson too. So it's like, I don't know where Nick Fuentes has a really big problem apparently with women. So when he gets to his women should shut up, I think there he's got some real big problem there. I don't know what happened to him earlier or whatever, and I think he says that all women are irritating or something like that. I tell you, I don't understand that at all. I don't agree with that. And then he says that generally or whatever, that black people should all be locked up, and it's like, you don't know where he gets this stuff. And a lot of this, you look at in some parts of the United States, and maybe even in Britain, with lately with a lot of these people that they're importing from all over the world, and I don't know. And it's our society as a whole. In Britain, they tell them, that they are privileged. I mean, whatever, and they have a right to get huge amounts of money from the taxpayers. That's a big thing all over in Europe, and even the Ukrainians, when they come to Europe, they believe, oh, you're going to be entitled. I guess that's the word, entitled, that you are supposed to get a whole bunch of money. And I don't know if they do that or did that in the States during the Biden years or whatever, that, like telling people you don't have to work if you're from some other country, and it is your right to be paid for by all of the other people that have worked their entire life, in the United States or Germany or whatever. I don't know. We have this crazy crap going on in the world, and a lot of this is from the governments. It makes me wonder if they're trying to make us all fight against each other. And I don't know if Nick Fuentes helps or hurts. It's like on the other side of the on the other side. Well, I don't know. It's the other swing of the pendulum, all the way to the other side. And it's like, I don't know. It's like a white supremacist sort of thing. I mean, sure, he makes a lot of points, heck, I'm a white guy too. I mean, gee, but it's like, I don't know, is it supposed to be getting a whole bunch of people to jump on a bandwagon? You'd have to be a very insecure person to be going for all of this stuff. It's like maybe he wants to, and I don't dislike Nick Fuentes because I like a lot of the things he says, actually, not everything, but is he, and it's not like that he is actually trying to get a whole bunch of men, maybe that were dissed. They were dissed by women, like, get the heck, and some of these men that just, can't get any kind of the woman that they want, or I don't know. And maybe they will say, because I've heard men, of course, they're older than Nick Fuentes, and they look at most women as cows or fat cows and stuff like that. They don't really respect women either. You see a lot of men, and I don't know. I don't look at even these people as men or women. You see differences in women a lot of time. maybe a certain time of the month, some of them get a little weird, and men have their problems as well. So it's like, that's life, man. That's how people are. And so what, are we supposed to crap on the women? We're supposed to crap on the blacks. We're supposed to crap on all the Jews and all this. But what I'm saying, like, about the Jews as far as Nick Fuentes is concerned, he's absolutely right. And the matter of fact, Jews even say that, a lot of Jews. And I'm not saying all Jews. Like, I'm sure that maybe even Norman Finkelstein, he talks about, I think it was his parents or grandparents, I don't know. And they were there during the Holocaust sort of thing. And, but he's a decent guy. Norman Finkelstein, if a lot of you are familiar with him. And I don't know what kind of weird society we're having. Everybody's getting polarized in all kinds of these different areas, and we're getting all put into these groups. They don't really do that stuff over here in Belarus, so it's kind of a relief. And I wouldn't even know about anything like this, if I should not even pay attention to the news and all this stuff that is going on out there. But yeah, and even like, what's his name, Tim Pool, pulling that kind of crap. And I don't know if he's looking at the success of Nick Fuentes, going into these rant things. Maybe, like, I think I said that yesterday, that Tim Pool is like said, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to lose total control and flip out, and maybe I'll get even more views than Nick Fuentes, and I'll be the top podcaster. And people are saying that Tim Pool is having financial problems or something. I don't even know how he can do that. And he's whining and complaining in that one video, and he puts the blame on, like, Candace Owens or something like that. It's, gosh damn, I don't know. And what he's actually doing is he's giving more views to Candace Owens. She's far more rational than he is. So I don't know. These people are like self-destructing, and I think even for a certain part is Nick Fuentes. I don't think he's going to lose popularity or gain popularity, because a lot of people thought, well, that's kind of disgusting in his views and stuff. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what psychological problems he has towards women or whatever. And Kim Iverson was basically saying, the guy's gay. He's gay, and I don't know. But it's like, we see this, I guess we're all being pushed to disrespect, somebody, all these different people, disrespect this religion, disrespect that religion, people in this group, people, from this generation. And I really don't know it. And it seems to be like it's like a globalist sort of a deal. They try to get us all fighting against each other. But I'm not saying that Nick Fuentes is part of this. I doubt it, But then you see, like, somebody like Ben Shapiro. I was trying to think, well, how would I compare Ben Shapiro to Nick Fuentes? Seems like there's kind of some similarities there. But Ben Shapiro is obviously an agent of Israel. I think he probably even admits that. He definitely shows it. There's no doubt about that. And Ben Shapiro, in my opinion, and I think most of you will probably agree, he's nothing but a real big con artist. The guy is a con artist, and it makes me wonder sometimes if he sits around and laughs afterwards that he's being successful in steering people into his weird paradigm of, what the world should be like and what it shouldn't be like. And of course, a lot of things you agree with him on. And it's, I think I said that in one video that, and you guys know this, and it's like comedy. It's like, for comedy to be most effective, there has to be an element of truth in the joke that you're putting out. And it's the same thing with manipulating people. And there has to be some elements of truth in what you're saying. And then, to manipulate them into a different way of thinking than they normally would have been thinking if they're thinking rationally. And in my opinion, well, at least for me, for my part, Ben Shapiro does a terrible job of that. I don't really watch Ben Shapiro at all because, what's the word, cringe. He makes me cringe. I just don't like this guy. And you start catching some of these little things I mentioned already before, twice, where he says, "Oh yeah, well we give $3 billion to Israel." Well, no, Ben, it's $4 billion guaranteed, and we give them a lot more money besides. And so getting in a debate with him, of course, he will take up all the time talking over and over again, and then he will make it look like whatever you're saying is pretty stupid, and that doesn't make any sense, and what he says is so rational. I think one thing he came up with on some video is he's saying that there should be no retirement. Nobody should retire. They should all work until you die. And he said, that's a really stupid idea to retire. I mean, who thought that stupid stuff up, And then Tucker Carlson has, made a video and said, what is this with this guy? And I don't know. These people, they put themselves out there, like Ben Shapiro, and they say this stuff, and maybe, it's taken out of context. Maybe he put a lot of stuff before that to make it look like, well, that retiring is a stupid idea. I have no idea. I think he said something like, only if you're disabled. Well, I don't know. When you're old, it's sort of like being disabled, isn't it? Isn't it, Ben? I mean, you can't move as much. I've seen people that can barely walk. There's people here that are hunched over. They look like they're looking for a lost contact lens or something. Something wrong with their backs. And, maybe in this area, somebody told me that in the wintertime, there was a very rich person, a big multimillionaire guy that, that I used to be friends with. And I think he still does live here when it's warm weather. And I believe he lives in his luxury apartment in Dubai or something like that in the wintertime. And, but, you guys, some of you even know who that is. But he's saying, that a lot of these people have trouble walking is because in the wintertime they slip on the ice and they break their hip or something. I don't know if that's true. Might be true. But, I do see older people, with canes and having difficulty walking. You probably have all seen that in my videos as well, older people. And I really don't know why that is. There's a lot of questions you can always ask, but, I've got better things to do than start researching absolutely everything that I don't really know about for sure and want to find the facts. I'd love to know, but I don't know, maybe somebody else can do that. But anyhow, this was just a short video, and it's a little bit of a rant. And did I cover? It was mostly talking about what I saw about Nick Fuentes, but as I say, I don't know. Did I cover the thing about black people? And I lived in a country. Let me go a little bit further about what I was meant maybe about black people. And you see, a lot of this stuff, I've been in different units in the Army where white people and black people, they get along perfect together. And nobody even says you never even hear the word black skin or white skin or nothing like that. So nobody really cares. But then you go into like other units, like maybe more in the, actually it was when I was in the 8th Infantry Division, everybody got along a lot better, and it, skin color and all that sort of stuff, and nobody really even gave a damn. And then I was in a headquarters unit in Heidelberg, and there was actually more kind of racism there. There was some people from Indiana, white people is what I'm saying. They had little remarks maybe about black people. They didn't do anything. They got along with them, were friends and all that. But, they kind of said, it's only basically noticing that there is a difference in maybe the way people act or whatever. And then there were some black people in there that were really racist against white people. And they pulled some things. Like once we went in a field exercise, you're out in the field, you're really dirty. You haven't showered or anything for, I didn't for 4 or 5 days or something like that. And there's 3 shower heads. And in our floor where we were at, and one of them wasn't working. You turn it on, there's just a couple drips coming out. And so when I go in there was 2 black guys showering, and then so I put my towel, and then I'm waiting, and I just kind of stand by the one and to wash my hands a little bit. They were dirty too, with some drips that come out. You can't shower there. And these black guys, they're just standing underneath the water. They're not washing or nothing like that, standing there. They're finished, I guess. And this one guy, another black guy came in, and as a matter of fact, he was kind of like my roommate almost, and he was definitely a very racist guy against white people. So, but anyway, this guy comes into the shower. We had, you know, one place where you put your towels and stuff, and then you walk into the place where there's the showers. There's 3 of them, and then this one, the other black guy that's underneath the shower head, he says, "Oh, here you go, Coates," and he walked away. And here I'm sitting here naked. You know, what am I doing? Do I just want to sit there and look at black guys showering? Is that what I'm doing? I mean, I'm waiting for one of those 2 shower heads that actually worked so that I can take a shower. But, you know, this guy, he waits there, just sitting under the water until another black guy comes in and he gives it to him. So then here, I got to wait again or longer. You know, and what did I say? I said, "Oh, yeah, thanks a lot." He said, oh, you wanted to shower? I said, "No, I just like to sit here and look at naked guys in the shower." I mean, gosh. You know, he did it on purpose. I had someplace to go. Otherwise, I really wouldn't give a damn, but I was supposed to meet somebody. You know, but anyway, and then, of course, that same guy, I think, you know, because we had this weird thing in this room where we had to walk through these 2 black guys' rooms when there's another white guy and myself, an older guy, you know, and then to get to our little room, you know, and they had a bigger room. You know, it wasn't very nice for them. And, you know, us having a smaller room, I mean, I didn't really give a damn. So there's a smaller room. I had nothing against these guys. And the one guy, he wasn't so bad, really. But this other guy, the same guy that got the shower head, you know, that came in and got the shower while I was sitting there naked, you know, he was always making comments and things like that. And you know, and then they talk about, "Oh, we're going to get this white beach and stuff like," I don't know. Supposed to bother us, I don't know. But I didn't really play many games. But that was like a headquarters company, strangely enough. And then the infantry company, everybody, you know, it was cool. It was real cool. So, and maybe Nick Fuentes, what I'm getting at is, you know, he's talking about a lot about this stuff, you know. So I don't know. And of course, I worked in a prison, and yes, there's a lot more black people in there than there is white people. There's no doubt about it. And if you want to look at the size of the populations of people and who has the largest, you know, based on how many people are in the society and how many people are in prison, the Samoans are the ones that are in there more as an ethnic group than any of them. You know, I never even saw a Samoan, but I saw a Samoan in the prison. That's the only time I saw quite a bit of Samoans. I guess it's because, and I've, you know, had some things with Samoans when I was in Hawaii and all that sort of thing. You know, they don't really mess around. You know, if they don't like you, they feel you disrespected them, they might kill you. So, and that's, you know, the whole deal. Otherwise, talking to them in there, they were perfectly fine. But they just have some buttons. You just don't disrespect. Well, people in the prison, you don't disrespect each other. That is the biggest commodity there, is respect. You don't disrespect people. So, in any case. But anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this Nick Fuentes thing. And, you know, but again, I'm being critical of him, certainly. So, and is that like me putting myself on a high horse? I'm just some older guy here, and I'm just saying my views and my opinion of society. And I don't like I said, Piers Morgan very much at all either. So, I don't know. But Nick Fuentes, you know, thing about women, I'm finding that a lot of women now are far more rational than most men. And I guess we what do we get? We get these women paraded in front of us like Hillary Clinton and Annalena Baerbock and Ursula von der Leyen and Kaya Kallas. It makes me wonder, how in the heck did they get in those positions, you know? I mean, you can understand how Lindsey Graham got in his position, who's a, you know, there's some real men out there that are things, you know, real nutcases too. So, but anyway, I'm just, it's kind of a rant, I guess, what I'm doing. Anyway, guys, girls, I say guys, I meant guys and girls. That's all I gotta say for today. Thanks for joining me, and maybe I'll do another one maybe today, another video. It's just having a lot of fun out here. Okay, bye-bye.